Hello students, this video is about order cycadales of the gymnosperms. So let's first of all know what are cycadales. Cycads are woody plants which resemble palms superficially. They have a stocky cylindrical stem possessing a crown of very large palm-like leaves. They also possess snaked seeds on modified leaves, which are called as sporophylls, and are thus true gymnosperms. Seward in 1933 mentioned that the cycads of today may rightly be called living fossils because they came down from the remote past with so little changes that if a man from Cretaceous is brought today, he would very easily recognize the modern living forms of the today. Means there is no major difference between cycads of the Cretaceous period and cycads of today. So cycadales include both living and extant genera. They originated in the Upper Triassic period of early Mesozoic era. Cycads appeared on Earth near about 250 million years ago. They flourished in Jurassic period. Next is global distribution of cycads. Cycads are found across much of the tropical and subtropical parts of the world. Means they are the plant of the warm areas. They are mainly found in Africa, Australia, India, Japan, China, Sri Lanka and Africa. Students, Jamia is a genus of cycad in the family Jamiaceae as you can see in this image. Let's know some common cycads. First is Mexican cycads and example are Dune, Cretozemia, and you can see images of these plant. Second is Australian cycads and example is Macrozemia. Next are African cycad and example are Encephalotus and Stangeria. Next is only cycad native to USA is Jamia pumilia. Encephalotus in Africa. So these are the images of cycads present in different regions of the world. Students members show different habitat and they may be present as a xerophyte present in water deficient region, halophytes which are present in the rich salt region, wet rainforest, sand, rock, ozone poor, swampy bog like soils, rich in organic material and in full sun or shade or both. So you can see cycads are known to have a variety of habitat. Fossils include organ-bearing genera like Nilsomia with leaves, Bania with seeds, and Androstrobus with pollens. Classification of the cycadales, they are variously classified. Spawn in 1965 classified cycadales in two families, that is Nilsoniaceae with fossils and Cycadaceae with 11 living genera. Bierhost in 1971 classified cycadales in three extant families, that is Cycadaceae having Cycas, Stagneriaceae with Stagneria and Jamiaceae having 8 genera, that is Jamia, Dune and Macrozemia. Presently cycadales are known to have 11 living genera and more than 100 species. They are distributed in both tropical and warm temperate regions of the world. They appeared first in Upper Triassic time and are present even today. This indicates clearly that they are extremely ancient plants. Cycas having 20 species, Jamia for 20 to 40 species, and Dune with 3 to 5 species. Pentoxylales and chordatails. Due to their superficial resemblance with palm, they are sometimes confused with and mistaken for palm or ferns, but distantly related to either. They also show resemblance with Venetitales. Here is image of a dune, a genus of cycad in family Jamiaceae. Next is general characters of the cycadales. Students, the basic growth form of a cycad is a central trunk with leaves spirally arranged at the top. Stem is thick, slow growing, unbranched or maybe branched And this type of arrangement is known as arborescent habit, means there is unbranched stem and a crown of leaves at its apex, as you can see in this image. Leaves are spirally arranged. They are foliose leaves and scale leaves. They are pinnate, bipinnate, and show circinate vernation, as you have seen in the ferns. Leaflet are with distinct midrib, especially in Cycas and Stangeria. They persist for 3 to 10 years and then droop down, and their base persist, leaving scars behind. Students, you can see general habit of the cycas and circinate vernation of the leaflet. Stem is columnar and show little or no branching. They are not very woody. Morphology: the plant body is sporophytic and the sporophyte is differentiated into well-developed roots, columnar and generally unbranched stem, and pinnately compound leaves. Leaves may be of two types in some genera, that is scale leaves and foliose leaves. The members exhibit xerophytic characters, that is sunken stomata and needle-like leaves. The growth of cycas under xerophytic condition is extremely slow. It has been estimated that a plant of dune grows only 2 to 2.5 meter in 1000 years under natural conditions. Students, you can see here general morphology. At the apex, you can see clearly a crown of leaves which are pinnately compound, and it appears like frond of the ferns. And stem is cudex, that is a broadened stem bearing scars of the leaf. At the base you will find basal suckers, and there are prominent colloid roots which grow aposiotropic. Students, cycas show two type of roots, that is normal root and colloid roots. Colloid roots are usually dichotomously branched, as you can see in this image. These are much branched and their mass appear like a coral on the soil surface, hence called coralloid roots. They don't wear root cap. The cluster has lenticel-like aperture for the aeration. You can see in these images that coralloid root grow apart near soil surface. They are branched to form masses. Their root cortex is inhabited by cyanobacteria which carry out nitrogen fixation. They become infested by nitrogen fixing blue-green algae which are called as cyanobacteria, but sometimes you may find their bacteria or fungi. And nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria are Nostoc punctiforme and Anavina cycadicarum. Symbiotic relationship thus established between cycas and the algae. So this is general image of the cycads or cycas. Students, here is major difference between normal and colloid root, and this can be asked in your examination. The primary root is short-leaved taproot which is replaced by adventitious roots arising from the stem tissue, while colloid root are specially ageotropic roots which grow on the surface of the soil. Normal roots are well-developed primary root. It is long and sometimes as much thick as the stem, while colloid roots are repeatedly dichotomously branched and appear as a coralline masses. Normal root have lateral branches which are thin and long. The colloid root are more common in young plants and get infected with certain algae, bacteria as well as fungi, which are already present in the soil surrounding the root system. Normal roots are positively geotropic, while colloid root first grow horizontally and then vertically in the soil, and their tips become swollen due to entry of certain microorganisms. The main function of primary root is anchorage and absorption of the water and minerals. The main function of colloid root is to help in nitrogen fixation. These roots possess lenticel which help in respiration. So these are the main differences between normal root and colloid root. Students, you can compare anatomy of primary root and colloid root, and you can notice that root cap and root hairs are absent in the colloid root. We can see that a root generally resemble dicot in its anatomy and show exact condition of xylem, and vascular bundles, their number varies from 2 to 8. Students, you can see that colloid root is different from normal root with inclusions of the special zone, that is of algae, sometime maybe fungi or the bacteria. Except this, you can see that there is more development of bark in case of colloid root as compared to normal root, because colloid root are aposiotropic. However, these structures are of primary root. After secondary growth, you can see their well-developed xylem and phloem. Students, young leaves show circinate vernation, means they show coiling as you have seen in the pteridophyte leaf. The wood is monoxylic. Monoxylic wood means there is less amount of xylem tracheids and more amount of medullary rays and parenchymatous tissue. Cycades wood is known by monoxylic wood, while coniferal wood is known by pycnoxylic wood. Monoxylic wood is of less commercial use as compared to coniferal pycnoxylic wood. Mucilage canals are present in the pith as well as in the cortex. Leaf trace is diploxylic. Students, cycadales are characterized by presence of leaf traces in the rachis as well as in the stem, and these are diploxylic, means having both centrifugal or centripetal xylem in them. Plants are dioecious without exception, means all the plant in case of cycades are dioecious, having both male and female cone on the separate plant, and the reproductive organs are generally in the form of cones. The cones are generally terminal or lateral in position. You can see here compound leaf of the cycas, and very prominently you can see leaflet, they have single or prominent midrib, and there is rachis from where these leaflet arises. Younger leaves show circinate vernation, and you can see scale leaves are present at the base of the foliose leaves, and these are brown in color. Students, leaves are produced in crown at the tip of the stem, and they are pinnately compound, as I explained to you earlier. If we talk about leaf anatomy, it is winged shape in outline. Leaf epidermis is highly cutinized. That is the characteristic feature of the xerophytic plants. Sunken stomata are haplochilic, means both card cell and subsidiary cell arises from the separate initials. Transfusion tissue is seen on either side of the midrib. Transfusion tissue meant to maintain vascular connection between vascular bundles and neutrophil cells. You can see vascular bundle is one and present in the midrib of the leaflet. It is conjoined, collateral, open and diploxylic, means having centripetal and centrifugal xylems. You can see in this image both centripetal and centrifugal xylems are there and represented by the different arrows. The triangular centrifugal xylem is well developed with end-arc protoxylem. It is represented by two or sometimes more small groups on either side of the protoxylem. Phloem is arc-shaped and remains separated by the cambium. Phloem consists of sieve tubes and phloem parenchyma. Companion cells are absent, as is the characteristic feature of the most of the gymnosperm. So this is the anatomy of leaf. Next is stem. Stem is roughly circular in outline. It has massive peripheral cortex and central pith, both traversed by mucilage canal, and vascular bundles are conjoined, collateral, end-arc and open. Students, you can see that stem anatomy is similar to root, And the stem of cycas also show resemblance internally with the dicotyledon stem. Presence of several persistent leaf faces makes the epidermis a discontinuous and ruptured layer. Cortex is large and consists of parenchymatous cells filled densely with the starch grains. It contains numerous mucilage canals and girdle traces, as you can see in this image. Students, there are two types of traces. One is direct and second is indirect. And you can see this image. Direct traces, they make connection directly from the stem to the leaf, while indirect are known as girdle traces and they enter from the opposite side. Starch in the parenchymatous cells of the cortex is the source of sago that has commercial or edible uses. Between the xylem and phloem lies the primary cambium, which remain active only for a short period. It is soon replaced by another ring of secondary cambium somewhere in the cortex. These successive cambium rings form 2 to 14 different vascular rings showing polyxylic condition in the older stem. Several broad and well-developed mucilage rays are also present between the vascular bundles. Pith is large, well-developed and parenchymatous. It contains many vascular bundles. Due to formation of many xylem rings, the wood is known as polyxylic. Student, you should not confuse with the pycnoxylic and polyxylic. You know very well pycnoxylic wood is wood with more amount of xylem tracheids, while polyxylic, as its name indicates, many xylem are present in the stem and mostly cycads have polyxylic wood. Next is rachis. Students, the outline of transverse section is rhomboidal in the base, convex in the middle and roughly cylindrical in the tip, as you can see in this image. The arms of the bases of the leaflet are present on the rachis, one on each side of the vascular bundles. They are arranged in the shape of an inverted Greek letter omega. As you can see, two arms are present at the sides of the rachis. The vascular bundles show different structure at different level of rachis, starting from the base to the apex, especially with regard to their diploxylic nature. Vascular bundles at the base of the rachis, only centrifugal xylem is well developed, as you can see in this image. Its protoxylem faces toward the center, showing end-arc condition. Centripetal xylem is not well developed. Vascular bundles in the middle of rachis have both centripetal as well as centrifugal xylem, as you can see in this image very clearly. It showed diploxylic condition. That is the characteristic feature of the cycadales. Vascular bundles at the apex of the rachis. Centripetal xylem is well developed, triangular and exarch, means protoxylem is toward periphery. You can see here centrifugal xylem is much reduced and present in the form of two patches only, lying one on each side of the protoxylem elements of the centripetal xylem. Centrifugal xylem is totally absent at the extreme tip of the rachis. Students, that's all about the introduction, morphology and anatomy of cycadales. I hope you understood this topic. Thank you for listening.